All right, everyone, class is about to start. Take your seats. Welcome to UGC 101, the podcast about all things user-generated content.
Welcome back to the UGC 101 podcast. I'm your host, Nate Flake, and today we have a special guest and one of the few people, by the way, that I have actually met in person that I've interviewed. I think maybe I've met two of the guests so far. So this is exciting. So Xin, will you introduce yourself to the listeners and give us a little bit of background of how you came across UGC and kind of how you got started?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for inviting me. This is such a cool thing you're doing, by the way. I listen to the podcast, so I'll
I
just start
appreciate
there.
it.
Huh?
Thank you. I appreciate
Yes.
that.
Of course. So yeah, I'm Xin. I'm a UGC creator and creative strategist for an app. I am 23 and I'm based in Seattle at the moment. I've been doing UGC since, let's say, like early 2024. So it's
Okay.
approaching almost a year and a half, which in the grand scheme of things is actually a really long time.
Yeah. Yeah, especially for UGC, the UGC world, you're old school at this point, you know.
Oh man, old school.
So I know I want to kind of dive into your background because we met at Foundations. I don't know when was that? February, 9 months ago.
Yeah, we didn't talk that much, and I DM'd you. I was like, "Hey, I wish we talked more."
Yeah, I know. I wish I would have like came a little bit earlier because there was so much going on. It's such a cool event. And I was telling Tran this. I'm like, I just like didn't have time to like make the rounds.
Yes.
To see everybody, which is crazy. Side note, which is also crazy. One of the people we did speed networking at this event, right? Where you're like in front of a random and then you 2 minutes and then on to the next. One of the guys that was there, he was like one of the only other males. So you probably remember him. His name's Chandler. I was at dinner the other night here. They were from like back east, like North Carolina or something. I'm in Utah. If you're listening and didn't know that, I'm in Utah. So I was at dinner the other night with my wife and our friends, and I look over, and Chandler and his wife, who were at Foundations, were sitting at the other table, and turns out they moved to Utah like a couple months ago.
Oh, that's so
anyways,
sweet.
it was like crazy, and I'm like, hey, I remember Foundations, and we chatted for a bit. But yeah, that's one thing I wish I had more time to like get to know more people, which is why we need to do more in-person events. So. Anyways, more to come on that. I think I may be throwing something together here in March, here in Utah, but that's a little sneak peek. So what I think is super unique, but at the same time relatable about your story is that you didn't come from like, hey, I want to be an influencer and now I'm going to start making content, right? You were like, you went to school for something completely different than this.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. Like, what did you go to school for? What are your skills in, and then what decided what pulled you into UGC?
Yeah, so drum roll, I went to get my bachelor's, and I actually went to community college for computer science, and I had a focus in UX design and data science, but I had opportunities in web development. So my experience in computer science was very varied, but at the same time still concentrated in the technical side. And I feel like I kind of still emulate that in some ways, especially when I do UGC and do creative strategy now, definitely emulating a lot of the analytical side of me. But at the same time, it's very different from UGC and being in a creative field. And just to say, like that wasn't long ago at all. Like I graduated in 2023, and at the date of recording this is 2025. So it's really not that long ago when you think about it. And I still decided to shift my career into a creative field instead of sticking to what people perceived as a very lucrative field at the time. So
yeah. And for those that don't know, UX stands for user experience. What is what does that normally entail? Like, what is the typical career path for someone that goes into that field or that degree?
So typically you would work, I don't want to say 9 to 5, because sometimes they also do freelance work. They also do project basis work. Yeah. But basically you create, this is very dumbed down, by the way. You create
Oh, I
the
love it. Please
design.
bring it down to my level. Yes, please.
Okay. But you see, like, the website, it's probably been through a UX designer's research and UX designer's prototypes to build the design to make it friendly towards a user, like how they experience the website. So that's kind of the like overarching theme
Yeah.
of UX design. If there's any UX designers listening to this, feel free to correct me. But from my understanding, that's been what
Yeah.
I would have been doing. And with that, it's very like similar to UGC, and I can talk more about that later, but
Yeah. So normally, normally you'd go work for like some end company or some like
yes,
apps or some startup or some
yes,
software brand, like, right?
yeah.
And so the question, I've actually never even asked you this, is like,
Mhm,
what then you graduated, right? And
mhm.
then like what got you into UGC? Was it like something where you got into the field of UX design and you're like, I hate this? Or was it like
Mhm.
you just happened, like, right place, right time?
So straight out of college, I actually went to web development in particular, not more UX design,
Okay.
but I still use my skills in UX design for web development. But other than that, like I got into UGC like a lot of people consuming media and like seeing someone talk about it and being like, oh my gosh, like I can make money doing this. Like that
Yeah.
sounds really cool. But I also always share in my personal content that like I actually dabbled in social media when I was like 18, starting a Instagram account for bullet journaling, and that was its own experience. And that was kind of what I like to think of foreshadowing how I would continue to go into a creative field.
Yeah, that's super interesting. So you
Mhm.
just were following someone and then you're like, okay, I think I can do this. So
Yes.
what was step one for you? Like, what did you create? Like, did you use your same account? Like, how did you start on a platform? Did you start
So
pitching brands? Like, how did that happen?
So Fiverr hates me. Ironically, because Nate is the Fiverr guy. So instead, I just started from my account, like a brand new UGC account. And by the way, I mentioned my old Instagram account because it kind of planted the seed of me going into UGC, like
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
wanting to pursue something creative. So other than that, like I just started by finding a mentor in the field. So I ended up going with Tran. I
Yeah,
still love
trans
her.
awesome.
She's amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
I loved her episode, by the way. So good.
Yeah, trans money. I love trans.
Yes. And if people are wanting to start UGC, like finding a good mentor that you can trust is super important. Super important.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that that's one thing I talk about this quite a bit on this podcast, but like
Mhm.
I've been in a bunch of industries, right? I mean, mostly in tech and SaaS.
Yeah.
But like this is one of the only spaces where it's like a lot of really freaking helpful people and really, like, I don't know, there's not really a competitive spirit to it, which is like interesting, right?
Mhm.
Especially coming from corporate America. Like, I just left my job in July, and
Yes, I
it was,
remember.
yeah, it's all about like getting, I mean, I was in tech for 15 years, and I can't tell you how many meetings like somebody who never talks would just like speak up in meetings to like make themselves sound better than someone else. And I'm like, dude, you don't even do anything. Like, I know for sure you don't do
Oh,
anything. You know?
oh, that gives me flashbacks to my computer science days. It was very, very competitive.
Yeah. Yeah. And it gets even worse like the further down your career you get. So I've been
Mhm.
actually like almost like waiting for the other shoe to drop with this. I'm like, okay, there's got to be some crazies in this industry, but like
Mhm.
everybody's super helpful. And even within the coaching community, there's other, like, we're going on a, like, not on a retreat. I don't know if it's like I'm meeting up with a bunch of the coaches in Nashville in November, and Trans one of them, actually, to chat
Oh,
about
yeah.
just like how to learn from each other, right? And there's not really an agenda besides like, hey, we should get together and figure out how we can all like grow together, right? How we can all
Mhm.
do better. And I think that kind of same mentality is very, very abundant, I guess I'll say, in the UGC space. And
For
so
sure.
I 100% agree with that. Like finding the right mentor is everything. So going back to your story, sorry, you're going to notice in this podcast a lot. I freaking squirrel a lot.
Oh,
I go
don't
down
worry.
rabbit holes. So you find Tran. What's your next move? Do you create an Instagram account? Do you start pitching? You said Fiverr hates you, so I'm assuming you didn't get on the platforms.
Oh man. Okay. First of all, there was like 3 million things happening at once, like making my portfolio, which by the way, those videos, I do not use them
Yeah.
anymore.
You don't claim those. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's how it goes for like every big UGC creator at the beginning.
Yeah.
So starting a portfolio for sure. And something I wish I did was focusing more on my content on Instagram and TikTok,
Yeah.
even X. So posting content consistently. And something that I did do was that I did start pitching, but I pitched when I had my portfolio ready because you don't want to pitch with
and not have a portfolio.
I mean, depends on your content. Hot take, actually.
Yeah. No, I've seen some, and
Mhm.
I did this for a while. I didn't have.
Yes.
Well, I started on Fiverr, right? So like, I didn't have a portfolio for almost a year, and I'd get, like, we talk about Tran. Megan's another one of my kind of mentors too. I'd get into her lives and I'd be like, I need to do my portfolio, and she's like, she'd get so mad at me. She'd be like, what do you mean? You've done like 200 videos. Like, you can't just grab 10 of those and throw them in a portfolio. And I just like never needed one because Fiverr was like keeping me busy, and I worked full time. So I wasn't trying to go full bore like you were, a million things. But for a good hot minute, I just had, and I talked to Anna about this, A Plus Socials. She's on my podcast too. Like a Google Drive folder with like 5 or 6 videos. And I just said, hey, here's a video on a portfolio. Here's a link. It's a little bit harder to do something like that on X or Reddit, where you're just dropping that to the world to see. But if you get like an inbound, or someone says, hey, do you have a portfolio? But like, I get your point, right? It's hard though when you're starting, and tell me what you think about this. When you're starting and you need to make a portfolio, but you don't know how to make content yet.
Yes, that's why I say it's kind of a hot take, because you would rather have an Instagram full of like high quality content, even if your portfolio isn't ready, rather than a portfolio with a bunch of bad content and pitching with that, right? So that's why I make that distinction, because it's really down to the quality of your content, which, by the way, the standards have like changed so much since I started.
Well, how like changed, like, meaning they're way higher now.
Yes. Because the videos I thought were good in the past. They aren't actually good if you measure them up to today's standards. And because it's such a competitive market, like for brands to advertise and stuff right now, you have to, it's a non-negotiable to be able to evolve your content and be able to do different things as a creator.
So how did you start making, like, walk me through your first video? Like, how did you make that?
Gosh.
Like, you're in you're in the community, right? You're in her community. I'm trying to think. I can't remember. It's called Foundations or UGC Masterclass, right?
Yeah, UGC Foundation.
Are you watching? Like, how do you get, like, walk me through your first video? Let's go through this. I want to hear it. I love hearing how people begin, because like, you make amazing content, Zen. Like, there's a reason I'm talking to you, right? And I love the whole, like, you're bringing your background, right? You don't like abandon, like, hey, I did UX design in another life, but I'm like never talking about that again. You're like, hey, this is how I use my education. It seems like you didn't just like pay for it for no reason. And then B, you're actually using skills, right? And so, like, walk me through your first video and like how you even decided what to post, like, or what product to use, and how you decided to even structure that.
So things I did right when I was making my first video, it was studying scripting and scripting it based on the medium that I wanted it to. So, for example, I was scripting for paid media, which, if the people listening don't know, it's the videos that you see that have like a sponsored tag on when you're scrolling through Instagram. If you're scrolling on Facebook and it's a brand that's posting a video and it's like a shop now, basically the videos you find in the Meta ad library or the TikTok, I think it's called Creative Center.
Yes, Creator Center. Yep.
Yeah. So it's those kinds of videos. So I would look to see what kind of frameworks that those videos were using. And at the time, the direct response formula, super popular, still used to this day. I scripted all my first videos with that. And I think that helped frame me as someone who understood paid media marketing. And you want that as someone who's starting out, because if you're just approaching a brand randomly, they want to know that you know
Yeah.
your stuff, basically.
Yeah. So explain to me, like, this is
Yeah.
great, because you're way ahead of where I started my first video. I didn't know like the direct response method was.
Mhm.
And then I didn't even know I didn't know the difference between paid and organic media. Like, I mean, if someone explained it to me, like, okay, that makes sense, but I didn't know those terms.
Mhm.
So explain to me, and mostly to the listeners, right?
Okay.
If you like, what's the direct response method? So now we're talking about paid media, like you said, has sponsored tags on it. They're the ads you see, versus organic, which is something like I did a video today for Caraway, non-paid, just a freaking gifted one, because we just got a new kitchen and those pans are expensive, baby. So I'm like, hey, I'll do a gifted one for this, but that's going to be an organic thing. Like, they're not running that as an ad because it's gifted, right? So
Yes.
that's something they just run on their page, or maybe they repost it on their story and they're, hey, that's a cool piece of organic content. Every brand needs hundreds of those pieces every month, right? So how did you even learn about what the direct response method was versus, and why did you choose that specifically to do your first video with?
So it's, first of all, probably the one that a lot of coaches talk about the most. My coach, Tran, she talked about it a lot, and she helped me understand. Oh, so sorry. That was
Oh, you're all good.
an alarm. She helped me understand what it was and the parts that go into it. So, for example, you always need your hook.
Yep.
That's actually non-negotiable for any video. So hook is a big one. And you can also introduce the problem, solution, and then introduce the product. And then you go into the USPs of the product. So that way it's not just any other ad for any other brand. It's the ad for the brand.
Yeah.
And because talking about someone's problems and giving them a solution in the video, that's so much more enticing than just blatantly trying to sell something. So
Yeah.
that's why,
Diving right. Yeah.
that's why direct response has been such a standard. I know Kelly, UGC Pro, she also did a lot to contribute to UGC community throughout
Yeah.
the years. And yeah, there's so many influential people that talk about this, and that's the one framework I recommend any person trying to be a UGC creator start out with.
Yeah. I think that understanding what a UGC video is, right, probably helps before you start making your first one. So what was the product you did for your first video? You remember?
Oh man, I think it was weightlifting straps. That was my first official video, and first time filming in the gym for a video. Super
Hold
scary.
on. Back up. You went to a gym for your first video?
Well, I did my first video in the gym. Yeah.
Like in public?
Yes. Yeah.
Dang, that's wild. That's wild. That's brave too. Like, you're doing a new video, and then B, you're doing it in public. That's a double whammy. That's cool.
Yes, it's very scary. And at some point you just have to be like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm getting paid for it. At that time that was just a video I made for my portfolio.
Yeah.
So, you just have to go for it sometimes if you want.
I love it.
Yes. And to touch on my first paid UGC deal, it was actually for a SaaS product. So with that, I obviously had to there was no product. It was like an
Yeah.
online thing. So just wanted to mention that.
Yeah. So which is interesting because a lot of people
Hmm.
like think that you can't do this unless you can show a physical product, which is
Yes.
false. Sometimes you literally just need a blank wall because you're going to be doing the entire thing green screen.
Hmm.
As a talking head, right? Having the app roll behind you as you talk about this feature's cool and this, and if you click here and if you sign up now, and like I actually like those. I don't love editing those ones, but you don't have to have a physical product. And then also means that if you are outside of somewhere where you can't get shipments, you can do this. Like, right? I've got a bunch of creators in Europe and Australia. I'm trying to think where else. One in Brazil, like some places that like aren't going to be getting shipments, right? Not saying you can't get shipments there, but like there's some companies like, yeah, we're not shipping that. We're not shipping to Australia for this one. Sorry, right?
Yeah, the
So that's a
shipping.
great point.
Hmm. Yeah, and
Yeah, that's a great point.
thank you. I think a lot of beginner creators sleep on SaaS and financial products, or well, financial apps, or like apps related to you know, any niche, because there's apps for everything, and they all are brands in and of themselves. So that means they need marketing, which means that's where UGC creators can come in and fill that gap. So I
Yeah.
really encourage people who want to get into UGC, don't sleep on that niche.
Yeah. No, I it's funny you bring that up because I
Yeah.
came from Intuit, which is like I worked on the QuickBooks
Oh,
side,
mm,
and
I did not
I
know
did
that.
like oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, I did partner strategy for Intuit.
Mm,
And like most tech on the QuickBooks, like it's like QuickBooks, TurboTax, Credit Karma, Mailchimp. Those are the four brands that make up Intuit. But I was on the QuickBooks side, and it's funny because I'm like, at some point, like after I started doing UGC, people on my team and my boss like saw ads of me. They're like, "What is this guy doing?" So then I had to have the conversation, like, "Oh, this is like a nights and weekends thing. Like I'm not cutting into work hours, promise, all that."
mm,
And and then it started because I worked with partners and so that were these exact the people you're talking about. In fact, I had a deal yesterday that they lowballed me. They're $1 billion company. I'm not going to mention who they are, but I was their partner manager. And I'm like,
wow.
dude, you're gonna. And I even told him like, hey, I know this guy. I dropped the guy's name. Like, oh yeah, we know him. That's great. Like, I'm like, here's my rate. They're like, oh yeah, our budget's 200. I'm like, dude, I know you guys are worth $1 billion, but okay. But
Mm,
anyways, I'm talking to my team about, and especially specifically my partners about like, hey guys, if you guys all these tech partners, all these ISV apps, right, and for financial consulting, for reporting, for inventory management, like whatever, pick whatever plugin goes into QuickBooks. There's literally tens of thousands of these apps. And so I was starting to kind of like teach UGC and my day job to these brands. So my partners that like
mm,
that were trying to get scrappy. And I always heard the same thing as like, oh, we're too big for that. Like, oh, that's like a small business thing. And I'm
mhm,
like, okay. And then it was funny because then I started seeing QuickBooks UGC ads on TikTok and TurboTax UGC ads on TikTok, and then so I'd start screen recording them, and then I would just send in my partner like, I don't know if you're bigger than Intuit, and they did $12 billion last quarter. Like this is a multi-billion-dollar company finding UGC creators and having them run UGC ads. So I 100% agree with you, and those brands normally and should have massive budgets. Like these guys they don't have a problem paying for high-end marketing, especially specifically UGC.
yes, and touching on rate, like I am a firm believer in your duration in UGC doesn't impact your rate. Your quality of work does. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I feel like if you're making quality content that is researched well, first of all, second of all, filmed with intention for whoever's viewing, making sure their experience is uh smooth, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
making sure the viewer experience is smooth and following what the brand wants to tell you to, then you'll have no problem securing higher rates. And that's coming from someone who I actually worked with another coach to address this, and now I'm securing higher just because I've really prioritized the quality of my work this past year. And I think if people are going to start UGC, that's the one thing they need to have down before they start throwing random numbers or higher numbers than their work actually reflects.
Yeah. It's just like when you say the thing they have down is like quality content, like
Yes.
making quality content. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that the whole idea of like seniority in UGC is like it's like so archaic, right? I mean, I used to work at Delta back in the day when I went to ASU,
Mm-hmm.
and I just remember I worked on the ramp when I went to ASU, by the way. It was like the worst thing ever. Just in Phoenix, Sky Harbor Airport, 1 billion degrees. I was throwing bags in the bottom of planes, so it's 120 degrees out there, right?
I highly respect anyone who works in
that
down.
was hard, and I was making like $10 an hour or something crazy, and just like working when I went to school, and it always bugged me so bad because these older guys and girls had been with the company for like 25 years. And they were just like, no, sorry, like you're going to do the work. And it was like the whole seniority thing drove me nuts. And I'm like, dude, you haven't even climbed up into this bin to move these bags one time. Like you've been chilling on they call them the tugs, those little things they drive around to like push the carts. But you've been chilling on the tug all day, you know? And it was always the seniority thing. And I think that is like, I think our generation's a way different about that. It's like, no, it's like if you earn it or whatever, like you can earn your rates very quickly, like you said. I also think there's also the opposite mindset where there's people that's like, oh, I've been in UGC for a year, and I'm like, but your quality doesn't look like you have. Like your quality looks like you haven't even tried to improve. Like you're just using the same tired like videos, and and you're like not like and anybody. And I want to get into this next. And sorry, I'm kind of going on a rant though.
Don't worry.
Anybody can like speak a script, okay? But like if I watch my first video, in fact, I showed it on TikTok Live this morning. My first my first paid video was pretty bad, and my freaking tone was just like, it has all the cool features. Like you can swipe up on this watch, and I'm like, was I like mad at someone when I recorded that? And like you listen to people, and I'm like, anybody can learn how to be animated and be like an extrovert for 2 minutes, and I just from speaking, and I'm not going to make assumptions here, but just from speaking to you, you're not an extrovert at heart, right?
I like to consider myself an ambivert. So
what is that?
Oh, you don't know?
A little bit about. No. Say that again.
An ambivert?
I've never heard of that.
Okay, maybe I'm saying it wrong too.
No. You're probably saying it right, and I just am dumb, honestly.
I don't know why. Sometimes I think there's a B in it, but either way, it basically means you're both like an extrovert and an introvert. So
okay,
yeah. So I like to think of myself as that. Do you also like see yourself as that too? Or?
Yeah, no, I'm for sure extrovert, 100% for sure extrovert. Okay. So, but I still, for whatever reason, like I don't think it matters how extroverted or introverted you are. Now I'm like saying it, now I'm sounding weird. I'm like, did I say it right? I think it's still hard to get on camera, right?
Yes, for sure.
But for you, like as you're getting started, like let's talk about that first, the weightlifting video, and then you start getting your paid. How did you like get comfortable on camera, right? Like if you don't love the spotlight, like I think that's one of the probably most common questions I get is like, okay, I'm new. And I think a lot of people assume that like, well, you do a podcast, so you freaking love being on camera. I promise. I like, it's part of me is like, I just like, I still don't feel super comfortable on camera, but I'm like, I'm just dealing with this. Like the anxiety is in here, but it's like, whatever. Right. How do you get comfortable? Any tips for that from like, obviously you've gotten better as you've gone by for the last year and a half.
For sure. Yeah. So when I first started, oh my gosh, like you, like my tone was so off, and I was just like, girl, what are you doing? When I look back at those videos, at the same time, I recognize like it's just not natural to be showing, like talking to an inanimate object in front of you. It's just not natural, no matter how you put it. Right. So what a lot of people say is to pretend you're FaceTiming with a friend and talking to them that way. Sometimes it's hard for me to picture that. So instead, this is very time consuming as well. But sometimes, like in the beginning, I would read through my script and just talk with my hands, and that made it feel much more natural to me, because I do talk with my hands. Like when I do that, it feels natural to me. So
Yeah.
doing something that feels natural to me while reading through the script, whether that's over and over again or just doing it before hitting the teleprompter on my phone, or just like talking it through just to get the tone right, that's what helped me really feel more natural in front of the camera. And over time as well, you don't have to do that as much because you've practiced it so many times, like
Yeah.
you feel like that's something that's happened to you, like as you just did it more, you did.
Yeah, for sure. I've never done the practice beforehand, but
Mm,
like now as you're saying that, I did one today that like I'm like, and I thought I should have read this before, because I'm reading
mm,
it for the first time. Like I'm like, everyone scans their scripts, but
yes.
like to your point, like intonation is important, pauses, things like that. Even like when you're talking about emphasis on certain words, if I
Yes.
would have read this even just once, like you probably don't go through it 50 times, right? Even once or twice using your hands. I use my hands a lot. Brands like that. Brands literally say like gesticulate, and and I had to look up that word. I'm like, I don't even know what the heck that means, but using your talk, right?
Mhm.
And the yeah, just little things. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was like a list. It was like a list or something, but they didn't have commas. And I'm like, if I would have read this one time, I would have known that. Now I have to scroll back up and start over, because it was like the longest run on sentence of all time. And it was at the end of it. And I'm like, I should have read this, because now I have to do it again. And then of course I get to that part again and I mess it up. I'm like, okay, now I got to go back, So, I mean, the struggle, but,
Yeah,
um,
I
yeah,
struggle with that a lot. Like no understanding, like even years, with almost a year and a half of experience, I still like have to go back to a script and read it before going to my phone and recording.
that's
Cause
smart.
yeah, sometimes there's just some words that you're like, oh wait, I wrote that. And then when it comes up on your teleprompter, you're like, oh,
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
yeah.
Quick pause here. If you've been thinking about getting into UGC but don't know where to start, I put together a video course that breaks it all down for you. It's called UGC Fiverr Pro, and inside I walk you step by step through setting up your gigs, landing your first clients, and building real momentum, with Fiverr as the launch pad to other platforms and eventually to inbound deals and pitching. I've taught over 2,500 creators how to monetize their content through Fiverr, and many of them landed their first paid brand deals within weeks. Plus, when you join, you also get access to our private Discord community. It's where creators connect, you get to share wins, and you get a ton of support along the way. And since you're listening to this podcast, you can use the code PODCAST for 15% off. Just check the link in the show notes and grab the course today. All right, let's get back to the show. I wanted to ask you about one thing you said earlier, that and it probably comes from your UX background too, is like you're talking about researching, right?
Yes.
Walk me through that. Walk me through, like, when do you how do you even research when it comes
Okay.
to a brand, and like, I want
So
to know all this.
yeah, you will benefit a lot then, because so I also mentioned before, I work as a creative strategist now.
Yeah.
I do more organic creative strategy though. So my research looks a little different than if someone was working in a DTC agency, writing scripts for paid media campaigns. So typically my research always looks okay. This reminds me of an interview I did, by the way, where I had to explain my process as a creative strategist with research. So
Yeah, I love it.
basically,
You don't have to go too far in depth if you don't want to, but I just think that's super interesting. And I think a lot of people that are
yeah,
listening are like, what do you mean research? She's like, researching, like, that
yes,
sounds like a lot. But like, hey, this is what sets you apart from other creators, man.
exactly. Because believe it or not, some creators just find the most viral video and replicate that, and that does not work, strategically speaking. So with research in UGC, uh, just for the scope of being a UGC creator, your research goes into what the brand is already running as ads, if you're doing paid ads, what they're already posting, if it's organic, and seeing where you can add value. So whether that's your demographic, if they're not running ads with your demographic and you feel like their product can resonate with that, that's a gap and you can fill that gap.
Yeah.
Or for example, like if there's something that is trending in their niche, but they're not running an ad like that, you can fill that gap by saying, I can do this for you, and whatever else your pitch includes. So that's another example of how you can do research just by seeing. There's so much you can learn from a brand's ad library. You just
Yeah.
have to do it and understand what those things are, which comes with learning. It comes with experience sometimes, but overall, like anyone can learn this. So
Yeah. I love it. Where do you find, if you're a new listener, I've talked about this on a couple episodes, but the ad library, you said
yes.
ad library.
Yes.
So if you're a new listener, you have no idea what that means. Where do you find that? Is that just something you can Google? Like, is that something you have to ask the brand for? Anybody can access this stuff, right?
Well, yeah. What I talk about with ad library, with research that's on the surface level, is accessible to everyone. I think it's if you have a Facebook account though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that requirement, but it's basically the Meta ad library. If you search that up on Google, it should pop up a link, and then you can press all ads and then search up the brand name, and if you press it, it'll show the ads that they're running, and that should pop up. So yeah, if you don't know.
Yeah, that's a great resource. I mean, I think it's, even to your point, that's how you find what their competitors are doing, right? So if you're whatever, ABC t-shirt brand, and you type in their name and they're not there, then the best thing to do is type in all their competitors' names, right? And then see what they're doing. And then you can use that to then pitch the brand that's not there and say, hey, you guys suck, you know, you guys need me, you know, or whatever. You got to have me run your ad now.
Yeah,
right?
well,
Like, it's a good idea to come up with
those exact words, but
you got it. Yeah. Okay, let me help you out. And I think you'd be shocked to see, that's one thing I think it's been a big learning curve for me, is to see how many brands that don't run UGC realize that like their competitors are just running all of these ads and getting massive returns. Like, there's a reason if you go to someone's ad library and they're running, 30 ads a day, it's not for no reason. It's not dumb. These guys are getting returns on that. That's why they're spending that.
Exactly. And you can also do the opposite. You can say, oh, your competitor's not running ads, and since you are running ads, we can take full advantage of this, basically.
Yeah, love that. Love it.
It's so many angles you can tackle it with. It's just a matter of understanding, like, what can I actually do, And that's why learning is so important. That's why whoever's listening to this, you're in the right place, because there's so many people, like, in your podcast that have talked about, like, their journey and, like, their learnings. So it's a great resource.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to go back to your creative strategy.
Okay.
So when did you start getting into that? And do you like doing that more? Like, is the plan to eventually get fully into that and like kind of like less UGC? Like, what's your time now? Is it 50-50 now? Is it 20-80?
So, wow, that's some hard-hitting questions, because I dove into I've always liked creative strategy. Even when I started UGC, I always heard about it. But I only started seriously diving into it earlier this year. But there was a thing where I didn't know what I didn't know, which means that, like, I learned on my own as much as I could, but then I had to go to a coach to really understand more about the gaps that I had to be a stronger creative strategist. Because story time, I was getting reached out to for creative strategy roles. So, I mean, as someone who's 23 and actually still in the beginnings of my career, that's huge. It was huge. And when I did the test for that, I thought it was great. But then my mentor, like, kind of gave me a reality check, because it wasn't as great as I thought.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, which really shows that like you really don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So that's why having different perspectives is so important. So basically, that was May of this year. And fast forward, I started learning more from my mentor. I started learning more by doing, and I ended up uh, getting another role referral for creative strategy. They loved my test, like my
Yes.
test brief, and they said like it impressed them like out of all the other people, and I was like, oh my goodness, okay.
Yeah.
That
I
was
love
amazing.
it. I love it.
Yeah, but basically I approached it because I knew like, hey, I'm still early in my career. I can still make this my my full-time gig. So that's why I thought it was very valuable for me to do these test briefs directly for roles because that's also a learning experience. So that was really valuable.
Yeah, I think two things I wanted to touch on with that.
Yes.
A, it's interesting because a lot of like I don't know, I'm 37. I
Uh-huh.
talk about age all the time. There's a lot of
Mhm.
creators that are like, hey, 40, 50, 60-year-olds are crushing in UGC right now because there's way
Mhm.
less of you guys doing it. I
Mhm.
also have a lot of people that are like, yeah, I'm 20 to 30. It's too saturated. I could never be good at this. And like, you're 23 and you're
Yes.
crushing. Like there's definitely space. There's definitely demand for this. And so that's A. B, I love how like you're taking your background again from UX, like you said this without saying it. You're like, I've always like really liked creative strategies because you like the research side and you like coming
Yes.
up with solutions and you like being creative and like molding the customer journey, right?
Yes.
The
I
customer experience. And
yes.
so that's one thing that I think is also like is UGC, everyone thinks about it like, okay, you're only making videos, but there's so many avenues you can take as a UGC creator
Yes.
to like, like if you're leaning more towards creative design, and like I'm sure at some point soon you're not going to be doing videos, you're only going to be doing creative design because you're so good at it, like, you know what I'm saying,
Oh,
like that's going to
yeah.
be
It's very
what the eventual
possible.
plan is. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
it's
think
very
it's
possible.
yeah, I love it. I think that there's like so many cool little avenues that in this community, in this space, that
Mhm.
people aren't even thinking of yet. And also, whenever I hear like, yeah, it's so saturated, I'm like, you guys have no idea like how few companies are still doing UGC. Like
Yes.
it's pretty wild how I don't even know. Like here, like even in the last week, I've had the guy that put my I'm doing a like this remodel to our house. It's been lasting 7 years,
Oh,
but we
wow.
have a guy that does cabinets, and he's a cool dude. He's a really awesome guy, and he saw me on an ad like on Instagram or something, and he's like, hey, like could you make one of those for like does that work with me? Can I sign up for it? He had no idea what it was. And I'm like, yeah, it's called a UGC ad. And I'm like, you run ads? He's like, no, I don't even have social media like on my for my business. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, let's do it. So now like we're talking, I'm like talking with my cabinet guy about doing UGC ads. And um anyways, the point being there's like it seems saturated because right now that's what your algorithm is pitching up to you all the time
Yes,
is UGC. Yeah.
and because, uh, that's, like, the biggest myth, because that was the same thing being said when I started UGC, and look, there's so many new creators now, and I think okay, hot take, another one. It's not oversaturated, but it is saturated with people who start and then quit,
Yeah.
or it's saturated with people who, don't want to evolve their knowledge. So they're stuck on the same formula, the same style of UGC. It's the same, like, yeah, it's hard to distinguish, um, like some ads sometimes, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
also saturated with people who like maybe don't shoot out like high quality, quote unquote, high quality UGC. So it's really just a matter of learning. Like I'm emphasizing this as someone who works brand side, like who now works brand side and has worked creator side for so long. It's really the matter of learning and understanding where your knowledge gaps are. So yeah, anyone can do UGC and they really just have to go for it. And if they want to be a good UGC creator, they have to learn.
Yeah. Yeah, learn more than one thing.
Yeah.
I think that happens all the time too. Like my community in course is like very heavy on Fiverr. Like it's like
Yes.
70% like get on Fiverr and then use that for other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So in your case, sometimes Fiverr doesn't like you for whatever reason. It has
I
nothing to do with
really,
you.
yeah. If
You
anyone
know,
watching this is in the Fiverr team, please reach out to
hey,
me.
I got a guy I'm meeting with in a couple of weeks. We'll figure it
Oh,
out. Send me your
cool.
Fiverr gig link actually after this. Have you already sent me your gig link?
I
Okay,
have
send
not
it to me.
because Fiverr does not like me for some
Yeah, send it to me. We'll figure it out. But
Okay.
like people will be like, yeah, UGC is not working for me. I've had my Fiverr gig up for 2 months, and I'm like, whoa, wait, back up. You haven't done anything else besides having your Fiverr gig up, because that's a
Mm,
problem. Like, there's a million different ways to find work.
yes.
And if you like, you can come in here with zero experience, and if you have work ethic and you're teachable and you're moldable, you can crush. Like there's a couple that's in my community,
Mm-hmm.
Haley and Ray. Shout out to you guys if you're listening to this. They're actually here in Utah too. They're in St. George, down
Oh
southern
wow.
Utah, and he's 55, and I'm like, dude, you got the freaking silver fox looking thing, you got the gray beard going on, like you could do this, like you could crush doing this.
Yes.
And in his first 5 weeks, I mean, this isn't like no work for them. This is like they did every single thing that I told them to do and beyond that. And in their first 5 weeks, they've contracted over $10,000. And I'm like, you guys are wild. Like you guys are, because you're doing all the things, because you can do all the things. They're exhausted. Like they've like been crushing. Right. And at some point it's going to slow down of as far as like learning curve and like,
Yes. Yeah.
Claire said something awesome this last week in her episode where she said like it takes 80% of your fuel for takeoff of a rocket, right? Like a rocket uses
Mm,
80% of its fuel in takeoff,
mm-hmm.
because like that's what's the hardest part of the journey is getting started. And then as you get better, like think about how long it took you to edit your first video, like the weightlifting video.
Oh man, you're so right. It really takes also a lot of personal discipline to get started, and sometimes people don't have that at the beginning, and that can really set you back. And it's hard. Like discipline is hard,
Yeah.
and that's just something that either comes with just doing it. I don't want to sound cliche, but like just doing it, or
Yeah.
yeah, or addressing the things that are causing you to not pursue something you've always wanted to do, you know.
Yeah. And I think having some thick skin is also part of it, like
Oh
knowing
yes.
that you're going to get revision requests, right? Like you can't take stuff personally. Like if I
Mhm.
quit the moment someone told me my video wasn't good, like I would have stopped like 3 weeks in, honestly. Like I would have been like, yeah, I think I'm good. I'm going to sit this one out. Like, but you just got to like keep going and learn more and learn more. Going back real fast, there's something I wanted to go through with your, so creative strategy,
Mhm.
and now you're doing UGC videos. How has your content changed, your UGC content, now that you've been on the brand side? How has it
Oh
changed,
man.
and how?
Um. Well, it's a hard question because my like the work I do brand side is different because it's a different niche from
Yeah.
brands I work with UGC with brands that I work with for UGC or brands that other SaaS brands, so it's hard to answer, but
Yeah. Different niches, probably.
but my sentiment, like, and my mindset and like my research remains similar. I always emphasize research, as you may
I love it.
notice.
I love it.
Okay,
People are
good.
like, what are we doing? We're talking about research with UGC. You're like, yeah, dude, that's
Yes.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically a full-time job, and full-time job requires full-time work, like research, like scripting and making sure that that's good, filming, editing, like that could easily take up like 8 hours of your day,
Yeah.
depending on how many briefs you do as well.
Yeah. Especially when you're doing like because you're talking about getting a lot of like doing pitching to brands too. Like you're not
Oh,
talking about having a brief like handed to you on a silver platter, which sometimes happens with the platforms, right? Knock on wood,
mm-hmm.
I've been pretty lucky with that. Now that I'm like doing this full time, I need to start doing more outreach, because I feel like I'm leaving a lot on the table that like people don't like. I gotta show people what I can do, like I need to reach out to more brands.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Reese, like that's the really good take home for me is like I don't spend a lot of time in the meta ad library. Like, I'm going to be honest, I don't. And I've only been in there a few times when brands tell me to go look at it for references.
You need
Because
to.
I need
I'm
to do
giving
it
you
now.
homework. You have to bookmark it, and every time you start collaboration, go there. Go there.
Yeah, I need to. No, I'm going to do it as soon as this podcast is done. I'm going to go bookmark it so I can use it. Because I'm like, as I'm, that's why I love doing these podcast episodes. Because like everyone I talk to, I'm like, okay, that's something I definitely need to work on. Because it doesn't matter how long you've been doing this. I mean, me and you started at the same time. January 2024 is when I started.
Oh,
Sounds like you were
okay.
around the same time.
I didn't know.
Yeah, so you said 18 months, dude. We're almost on 2 years. We're going to say 2 years here soon. That's when I started through Tammy. You remember her, and you probably met her, Scott. So I bought her guide. But yeah, January, we're coming up on our 2-year anniversary here. But it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. There's still a lot of room you can improve, right? A lot of room for improvement. Even today, I was talking to someone you probably know, Mare, and about my personal branding.
He's a mentor that I reference when I talk
Mare's a
about
homie.
strategy. Yes.
She's cooking me. She's roasting me on my personal branding. And I'm like, Mare, I know it's bad. Like, relax. I know I need to do it. So it doesn't matter. Like, I think a lot of people think like, oh, like this person has a course or this person has like, I am like just right there with you guys. Like, I'm trying to improve just like you. None of us is above criticism for sure, above improvement. I think the moment you think that you have made it is like a dangerous spot to get in, because guess what? All of a sudden the type of UGC is going to change. The I don't know. You always have to be learning, or else you're falling behind, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that goes like, if you come from whoever's watching, if you come from a tech background as well, that's also the case, because code code now is so different from when I graduated. So it's very similar.
I bet it's so hard to keep up with, especially with all AI tools and stuff.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, so that's a great segue, actually. That's like a perfect segue, because I was going to ask you about your and like your background, right? What your UX background. You do UGC now, you do creative design now. Are you still doing anything with coding or website development or anything like that?
I actually do. So because I have a background in UX design and web development, I offer a service to other creators to build their portfolios, and so far people have been really happy. And
wow. So like, what do they? So okay, hold the phone.
Okay.
My portfolio sucks, so I'm first in line. What do you like require from the creator? Just the videos, and then you do everything else?
So I have a whole website that details like my timeline, my process.
Okay.
And then when I go on a call with them, I have a slide deck where I show like what I require of them. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, and don't worry, like when I work on a website, like I don't own anything. Like all your videos are your videos.
Yeah, everyone's so paranoid these days. Yeah, no. I love this because again, not to harp on my portfolio. My portfolio gets enough grief, but it's not good. It's a Canva one, which is totally fine. If you're listening to this and you started on Canva, that's totally cool. Canva, but I feel like I feel like I'm to the point where I need to make it cool and make it better, because there's only like 6 videos on there, and I've done like 2,000 videos, so I need to like probably put like 30 on.
I'm sorry,
I know, 6 videos.
That's not,
dude. Good. It's getting me business. That's like my problem is it's working, and I'm like, I want people to like stop reaching out, so then I can be like, hey, that's why. But I need to. It's on my laundry list of 1 million things to do. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. If you're okay with it, I'm going to list your website in the show notes. The website where people can contact you through there. I guess they can fill a form out.
Yes. I have my email and a discovery call link. So
unreal.
They can reach me there.
I can't tell you how many people have asked me if I build portfolios for them, and I'm like, dude. Yeah, like, hey, will you build a portfolio? Well, it's just people that don't know how to do it, even on Canva. Like, Canva's pretty simple to do it, but A, it takes time, and B, like, you still have to, even if you use a template, you still have to be able to like move some things around. And if you're not like super tech literate, it's a little hard, especially for like I think some people that didn't grow up with tech. So
sometimes I forget people didn't grow up with tech. I grew
Yeah,
up
yeah.
with playing Temple Run, Fruit Ninja on my mom's iPhone. Like,
Yeah, you're like, I had an iPhone when I was 8 years old. That's wild. Yeah. So, okay, perfect. I'm going to list you guys. So if you're listening and you've one of the 500 people that have asked me to build your portfolio, we have good news for you. Xin can make it, and I'm going to put it in the show notes. And that's something I'm going to probably hit you up on at some point after this
yeah,
podcast recording.
thank you.
I appreciate it. So, okay, we're running up on time, Xin. I want to ask you one last question. Best advice for brand new UGC creators. Let's say they started today. This is their first exposure to UGC and they're listening to this. What would you tell them?
Oh man, okay. Other than the stuff I've covered about researching and making sure you make good quality content, literally don't compare yourself. That is very hard. But
So hard.
very hard. But once you start comparing yourself, you're gonna feel like, okay, well, crap, I'm crap. But you probably aren't crap. You just have to continue going and learning. And learning is such, like, I'm a huge proponent for education, like education on all forms, whether that's through, like, formal education or just learning from other people, having a mentor. Like, that is what will always push you forward. And with that, also, do not scroll without intention. That is also super hard when your job is social media.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but don't do that because once you start scrolling, you're gonna see things can go viral for no reason, and you will want to feel like you want to emulate that, but at the same time, it may not work for you, and it may not work for the brand that you're like creating content for, or your own personal brand. Like, it just always depends, right? So
That's great
limit
advice.
consumption. Yes.
No, that's great advice. I love the comparing thing too, because what I always say is like, okay, if let's say your first deal is $80 and someone else got one for 300, you're like, dude, that's $80 that someone paid you to do a video for. And a week ago, you would have been shocked by that.
Yeah, and Mayor talks about this, like, when you picture $80 in your hands, that's a lot of money. So never feel shamed for taking a rate that people may feel is too low, when in reality, like, money is money. Like,
Yeah.
and in this economy, I will, maybe I'll take a, no, I'm kidding, I'm not, because I quote unquote know my worth. That's such a used term, but it has a lot of nuance with it. So I just want to preface that.
Yeah. No, I think once you get to a certain point with certain quality content, like, you need to know your worth, or else you're never going to be able to charge more.
Exactly.
But like, yeah, I love the non-comparing yourself. Even me, it's tough for me to, like, I see like all these other people and I'm like, oh dude, they're posting so much, and I'm like, I'm like sitting there freaking drowning in like kid pickup and stuff, and I'm like, I gotta post, and it's like, dude, like, look at where you are from where you were a month ago. The only kind of measuring stick you should be using is against yourself.
Yes.
Right. If you're improving, then you're golden.
Mm-hmm. And I want to preface, people come from different backgrounds. Like, some people come to UGC already with a marketing master's or bachelor's in marketing, or they were already an influencer, or they already were an actor, which, by the way, is such a good asset if you want to go into the UGC. Like, being an actor or an actress, like, people come from all different backgrounds, and when you start doing UGC, you also have different responsibilities from, most likely, like, different responsibilities from the person you're comparing yourself to.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, if you're a mom, a stay-at-home mom, you have very important responsibilities. So if you start comparing yourself to someone that's doing this full time, but they don't have any children, or they don't have another job on the side, like, that's like comparing apples to oranges. Like, don't do that.
Yeah. No, I love it.
Yeah.
Love that advice. Well, I super appreciate you. Again, you guys, I'm going to link her website services in the show notes. Click there. You'll see a way to contact Xin through either email or through setting up a discovery call. And I super appreciate you being on. I will let you know when I'm ready for my portfolio to be redone, because it's coming. It's coming. I'm giving you fair warning.
Okay,
appreciate you being on.
Yes, thank you for
I really
having
appreciate
me. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I love talking. I may have rambled a lot, but it's good to talk
No,
to you. So.
that's what this is for. That's literally all this is for, is
Oh
just
wow,
to chat and
to talk to you.
no, just to chat and just freaking shoot the shit. You know, I think it's it's like one thing that's not talked about, not to ramble this even longer, but like this is like a very isolating career a little bit, right? We seem social because we're making videos, but like, you got to remember, guys, we're alone. And like, I made a video in the kitchen today and I was like the only one in the house, like making this video alone. And like, so it's kind of nice to be able to connect, see someone's face and not just in the comments. Right. So I think this is great.
Yes. So
much
that's
needed.
why
I learned a lot.
Oh, I'm glad. And like what you're doing in Nashville, that's like tackling that loneliness, like
Yeah,
really.
yeah, exactly. That's part of why I'm like, I just like want to meet everybody and like get on the same page and just like honestly just learn. I think there's a ton to learn. Everyone can learn something from everyone. I love that whole concept.
Yes.
So, okay,
and
awesome. Yeah, and the community. Awesome. Well, if you guys are listening to this and share this podcast with your friends, if you learned anything, a comment goes a long way, or a comment or review. You can get this on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts. I'm trying to think, Castbox. But basically, anywhere you get your podcast, this is where you can find the episode. Subscribe there. Thanks again, Xin, and we will catch you guys later. Take it easy. Thanks so much for tuning in today. If you found this episode useful or got you interested in starting your own UGC journey, go to the show notes, check out my UGC Fiverr Pro course. The entire thing's on video. I walk you step by step on how to set up your Fiverr, go beyond Fiverr onto other platforms, figure out how to get inbound deals, and also pitch through different platforms like X and Reddit. Go into the show notes. If you use the code podcast, the link is right there. You're going to get 15% off. I appreciate you guys listening. Thanks for subscribing, and we will catch you next time.